Hi everyone, welcome to Pearl's Kitchen. Today let's give a gift of happiness to someone without expecting anything in return. Amen. Today I'm going to show you a hot, sweet and sour Karela recipe. This is an Anglo-Indian recipe and it's my mom's recipe. She made it exactly like this. And Karela is an Indian vegetable. In English you would call it bitter gourd. It's got a lot of health benefits and it's full of goodness. I'll show you how to cut it a bit later. I'll show you the rest of the ingredients. In the karai I've got 3 tablespoons of oil. And in this pot I've got water, it's already on, so it's going to be boiling, so we need some boiling water. And in the water I'll put 2 teaspoons of salt and 1 teaspoon of turmeric, that's haldi, that's separate. And for the rest of the ingredients, here I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of kalonji, that's onion, black onion seed, 1/4 teaspoon of sauf, that's fenugreek, got 1/4 teaspoon of rye, that's mustard, 1/4 teaspoon of jeera, that's cumin. I've got a tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, and here I've got 3 large onions chopped, a 1/4 cup of tomato pulp. You could make it out of 1 tomato, but this I've got from the tin tomato. And for the masalas I've got 3/4 teaspoon of dhaniya, that's coriander powder, 1/4 teaspoon of chilli, and I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, that's haldi, and I've got 1/2 teaspoon of jeera powder, that's cumin powder. And I've got 1 raw mango, and that I peeled and cut into small pieces. And if you can't find a raw mango, or if it's out of season, then you can put some dry mango powder, amchur, put 1 teaspoon of amchur powder. Now this vegetable is very bitter, it's more on the bitter side, so to counteract the bitterness we need some sweetness. So we've got jaggery, so I've got 1.5 tablespoon of jaggery to go in there. I'll show you how to cut this. We'll need some salt and we'll need some water. Okay, to begin with I'm going to show you how to cut the Karela. So, and I forgot to tell you how much Karela that was. It's 1/2 kilo of Karela. So you take the Karela and then you top and tail it, cut the ends off, and then you cut it in half lengthways. There'll be lots of seeds in there. Some people eat the seeds. The seeds are even more bitter. So just take a teaspoon and just scoop up the seeds. That's one done. It's quite easy actually. Once the seeds are out, just face it down one at a time, unless you just cut it in slices. Easy as that. Do the same to all of it. That's how it looks like. Okay, that's our Karela all cut. That's how it should look like. And if you bite into this, it's really, really bitter. I just tried, but like I said, it's full of goodness. So the water is boiling. So what we need to do is put this into the water. And then, like I said, 2 teaspoons of salt. It seems a lot, but the salt is the one that will draw the bitterness from the Karela. So put all the salt and turmeric in there. And then just give it a stir and put the lid on. And now let this boil for 15 minutes. Okay, so while that's boiling and the salt is drawing all the bitterness, we're going to start cooking the rest of the stuff, do the masala. So now The oil is already hot, so as soon as the oil gets hot, you put these 4 seeds, the Sauf, the Jeera, the mustard and the Kalonji. That all goes in together. Fry that for a minute. And then we need to put all this onion. That's why we put extra onion. That's also so that it will bring out some sweetness in there. Now stir the onions and now let the onions fry till it becomes a golden brown. Now that the onions are slightly golden, we don't want them too brown, we're going to add the ginger garlic paste. And fry that for a couple of minutes till the rawness goes from the ginger and garlic. Okay, the ginger garlic has had its couple of minutes. Now you put the fresh chopped up raw mango and now you let that fry as well for 2 minutes. Okay, the mango has had a couple of minutes. You can see it's already getting soft. So now we need to add all the dry masala and stir that, and the gas is on medium. And then we need to add the 1/4 cup of tomato. Now you can at this point add a little bit of water so the masala doesn't get stuck at the bottom. And now you keep frying the masala for 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, while the masalas are still frying and the time for the Karela is done, the 15 minutes, so we need to now drain that off. So we're putting the gas off and you need a sieve, a colander, my mum used to say if you cool that water, I mean obviously it's got too much salt, if you did put less salt, cool that water and try and drink it. It's got lots of benefits in it. But it's so bitter we wouldn't try. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put some water, fresh water, to drain off all the salt and drain off more bitterness. Give it a stir and then some more. Press all the bitterness out and then put it on here so it drains itself, and now let that rest there. Okay, now the masalas are done and the Karelas, all the water is drained out. I pressed it a bit so that it gets all the bitterness out. So now we need to add the Karela in here. That's how the masala should look like. You can see it's not sticking anymore. So it's not raw anymore. So we add all the drained Karela in here. And then you're going to add some salt. Salt to taste. And then we fry this in the masala for a couple of minutes. Okay, after frying the Karela for a couple of minutes, we need to add the Jaggery, and that I grated. So you just break pieces in there. It will start to melt. And that's the ingredient to counteract the bitterness. And now you mix it in there and fry the Jaggery also with the Karela and masala for another couple of minutes. Okay, we fried the Jaggery with the masalas and the Karela. Now we need to put some water in there, say around, keep stirring. I'll tell you how much water I put. It has to be not having too much gravy, but we need to cook the Karela some more. Okay, so around 1.5, say around 1 cup of water. So you put that water in there and you wait for it to come to a boil. As soon as it starts to boil, then you put the gas on medium and put the lid on, and now let the Karela cook in all this liquid for at least 10 minutes. Okay, the Karela has had its 10 minutes. It's lovely and smells delicious, and it's all cooked. That's how it's got like a little thick gravy in it. You don't need a runny gravy. So now we just turn the gas off, put the lid back on, and now you just let it rest before we serve it. Okay, now that it is rested, we can start serving it. When I opened the lid, actually I could smell the sharpness, the sweetness and the bitterness. The combination of all three really makes it so delicious. So you just scoop up on there. So that's the Karela ready, the hot, sweet and sour Karela, and that's how it should look like when it's made. Now this is eaten with parathas. They come very tasty with parathas, fresh homemade chapatis, but it's also eaten if you make it with boiled rice and dal at the side, and this dal rice and a little bit of Karela at the side. It's really, really delicious. So I hope you all enjoy this, and write and let me know how it came out when you do try and make it. And like I said, it is on the bitter side, so people avoid making this dish, but if you make it this way, it's really delicious. So you go and enjoy this, and I shall see you next week with some more delicious cooking.